A very warm welcome, everybody, to the drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One Hungarian Grand Prix. The usual two groups coming your way. First up, left to right, Fernando Alonso, Franco Colapinto, and Carlos Sainz. A very warm welcome to you all. Now, we have two Spaniards and one Argentine with us. Can we start, please, by talking about Sunday night, that World Cup final? Who'd like to start? Carlos, perhaps you could give us your thoughts.
My thoughts of Spain winning. I don't know. I always had the feeling it was Spain that was going to win it, given the way they had been playing the whole championship. I don't know, but I had a feeling that it was Spain's to win, and I'm very glad they did. I think they deserve it. I think they played the best football of any other team in the World Cup, and happy, very proud to be Spaniard, proud to see them celebrate, and proud to see them succeed. I think it was a great event. The World Cup itself, I think it went great in the US, Mexico, and stuff. So I think it was a great event, and it's still only football. Life goes on. It's World Cup match. We're world champions. It's great, but people take it so personal, this football, that sometimes it's crazy to see how people are so passionate about it. But enjoyed it, had fun watching, great win, and life continues and everything moves on.
Tough, of course. I think Spain they really sorry. They play the best football, as Carlos said, all World Cup. So they are clearly the deserved winners. But I think very proud of the team. Very proud of Argentina, of Messi, of all the players from our country. I think we all in Argentina just feel very well represented by them and the way that they play and the way that they defend the t-shirt. So very proud to be Argentinian, and of course life continues, but it's kind of the last few matches of a generation that gave us a lot of happiness and a lot of very good moments. It's just those moments that sometimes happen in football, that they two countries that they were always very close to each other, and it was a great final to watch, and a great final to be Latino, and to have a final of two Spanish talking countries was amazing. But then it just creates all these differences and the things that the sport like football creates. It becomes they seem massive enemies now, with Messi playing for Barcelona, but they just in general it gave Spain so many happy moments, and it finished being a pretty bad, and it seemed like a war against one country and another, and I don't like to see that. I think football, for being the most watched sports in all the world, is not nice to see that and to show that. Of course, it didn't give Madrid a lot of happy moments, but just to see them, I know, like burning a t-shirt of Messi and these kind of things. Luckily, it didn't burn. It's the t-shirt of God doesn't burn, but in general, it was not so nice to see. And in general, I think football creates these kind of things that F1 doesn't, and I don't enjoy that. But well-deserved winners, and hopefully they get a bit more creative with the songs for the next World Cup. It's a bit boring.
All right, thank you.
Not much more to add. I think, I only watched the football game, and I did enjoy, obviously. I think Spain, played a great tournament. And not only this one, I think all the Spaniards, we are very proud of the national team, winning 3 Euros and 2 World Cups in the last 20 years or something like that, I read. So, yeah, it seems that football, also the women, we are world champions as well. So, there are a couple of good things that probably the country is doing on football, and it's great to see the whole country celebrating. I think football unites, everyone, and we all celebrate. And when we saw the images of Madrid, the people celebrating on the street, people in Barcelona, waving the Spanish flags. That sometimes we have that problem also in Spain with different regions. Very proud of our own flag, but then football unites everything, and we are very proud to be Spaniards. So, yeah, great. And in 4 years, we go again.
Now, Fernando, just staying with you, on the topic of Formula One, describe the sense of anticipation inside the team ahead of this weekend where you'll be driving the upgraded car for the first time.
I don't think that it changes anything to the approach that we had, so far this year. We go to every race trying to maximize what we have in hands. We here to win races, and to fight for championships. We didn't start the season that way, and we will not be that way either, because we are just in a process of understanding these regulations and getting, into the good path, let's say, with the development of the car. And I think for the first 12 races, all the teams, they opted for a different strategy, the more conventional one, to bring 2 or 3 tenths of the second every 2 or 3 races, and then you ended up with 1 second or 1.5 seconds by race 10 or race 12. We didn't do that, so we fell a little bit behind, everyone else on the grid, and now we will try to catch up all in once. But I think it doesn't change your natural position at the end on Sundays. So, I think I'm obviously optimistic. I'm very proud of the team, of the job that they've done since Bahrain test, that we understood that we had a problem and we had to fix a few weaknesses on the car. And I think this is the first step into those fixes, but there are more to come.
And how much of a step forward are you expecting here?
Difficult to say. I'm not thinking too much on numbers or positions or something like that, because if we go back to the last 5 races, I think we have very different gaps with the midfields. We had more or less consistent gap to the pole position, which is unreachable, obviously, at this moment. But there were a couple of tough circuits. I think Silverstone was tough. Spa was one of the toughest. I think we had the guy in front of us 2.1 seconds. So there is no package in the world that will, give you that amount of time, and probably the position will not change. If you run the updated car in Spa 1 week ago. So that's how we need to treat it. It will change circuit by circuit. Hopefully, Budapest is a friendly circuit for us. Power is not the most important point here, which obviously we will update the car, but not the engine yet. So we still have some deficit that we need to overcome. And as I said, I'm more into the weekend understanding what is the direction of the car, if we are in the good path, and if we unlock, finally the performance.
Okay, Fernando, thank you for that. We're now going to open this to the floor. We will go straight to the broadcasters first of all. Please, who's got the first question?
David Croft, Sky Sports F1. It is a question for you, Fernando. Apologies, Franco and Carlos. Adrian Newey made a comment a couple of weeks ago that maybe the team haven't listened to the drivers as much as they should have done. I don't know if you agree or not with that, but now that we are all listening, what would your advice be in terms of the way the season has been for Aston Martin and the way that or that you need to turn around what is now a major deficit?
I don't know. I think to Adrian's comments, I think it's more in the past that this year. I think in the past it's true that we sometimes had different opinions on the weekends, on the race weekends, in terms of feeling weaknesses of the car when we were racing with other cars, what we felt behind the wheel. And sometimes when you go back at the factory and you see the data, you discover, things and misbehave on the aero that maybe were pointing the direction of the car in two different ways. And maybe the data was the winner on those, debates. And I think Adrian is a type of designer that, listen to both sides, data for sure, but also what the drivers feel. Formula One is a very complex sport probably and very dynamic. It changes every lap. You never have the same fuel load, you never have the same tire age, you never have the same wind conditions. If you are following a car, if you are alone on track, there are many different things that can, affect the balance of the car, and that's why data is not 100%, the truth. But, I think you need to combine both things, and, Adrian has, the best experience in the world to design a car and to develop a car, and I think we are in a good path.
Thank you for that. Next.
Hi guys, Rui Chagas for DAZN Portugal. First of all, Fernando, Carlos, Enhorabuena for the world champion. I always knew it would either be you or Portugal, 100%. Franco, I'm sorry for that. Carlos, question for you. It's a bit of a harsh one, I think. After the end of last year, did you ever expected before the summer this year to only have 6 points?
Sorry. No, it wasn't in my plans, or it wasn't on my expectations. I think I've been very open and very clear on the fact that I think in 2025 we over-delivered, and if anything, the results were better than what I expected when I signed my Williams contract in 24. The 2025 car was a very good car, a car that was only sometimes 3 to 4 tenths of pole position, a car that you could feel the balance was a good balance. So obviously going into 26, I expected, if anything, with more time to develop with the 26 car and a new set of regulations, that we could potentially either stay where we were or do a small step forward. But yet time has proven to me that it's been obviously the opposite or the other way around. And that as a team, we are more far away from the top than what we thought we were at the end of 25. So it's been definitely a character building year for the whole team. Bit of an eye opener in terms of how much work there is to do still if we even want to consider fighting with a top team in the future. So yeah, a lot of things learned, a lot of things that we've realized, and unfortunately a bad year so far. So we need to conclude, understand what happened. I think we have a pretty good understanding by now, is the capacity to turn it around. It's obviously in Formula One, it takes time, and takes time, effort, it takes budget cap money, and it takes a lot of analysis, and that's exactly where we are right now.
Thanks for that, Carlos. Next.
Hi, Mariana Becker from TV Globo Brasil. Fernando, in 2 races, this race and Zandvoort, completely new car you're going to have on your hands. What do you which are the signs that you are expecting to see that would give you the hope that the team can unlock the potential of the car and you can have a better life next year? Or what you're going to see that would give you the answers that you need?
I think it's not that I need answers. I think I have a pretty clear picture of the team that, you know, we will fix all the problems. They take time, but I think I have no doubts, I have zero doubts that Adrian will provide the best car on the grid sooner or later. So that's probably, you know, as I said before, I would like to see the first step with this package, with the understanding after the first couple of races. And I think there's going to be more to come next year, that's for sure, and the years to come. And I think on the power unit, I think I have no doubts as well. I think it's a matter of time that Honda fixes the issues, because it's what they've been doing, you know, for the last 40 years of racing. So we started on the back foot, yes. We are dealing with that process now and that pain on the weekends, but we are working all together to fix the issues. So, you know, it's just how soon, you know, the car will be competitive. That's the question mark. Maybe the next two races will give us a little bit of a feeling for that. But yeah, it's for me, I mean, I'm relaxed. As I said many times, you know, I'm thinking I need to know what I do next year, and the years to come. I feel fresh, I feel motivated, I feel fast, but I need to enjoy also what I do. And as I said in Spa, I think Silverstone Grand Prix and Spa, it was not fun to drive. I think it's not fun to watch, it's not fun to drive. And we've been repeating the same thing every single Grand Prix, and it's not to criticize, you know, anything, it's just to improve altogether the sport, you know. And I think the direction that we took this year, I think from the driver side, I don't know from the spectator side, but behind the cockpit is not the same adrenaline that I used to have driving a Formula One car. So that's something that I need to put in the table. So it's not a problem of the competitiveness of the team, it's just a problem if Formula One gives me the adrenaline that I need to live.
Thank you. Next.
Hello, Panos Etanis from Antena TV Greece. A question for Fernando and Carlos. You described the joy that this World Cup gave to the Spanish people and all the success the football team has for the last 20 years. 20 years before, we had the championships of Fernando to give that joy. So what would it feel for you to, even though now you're not in that place, but hopefully you will be soon, to give that joy of a world championship in Formula One to the Spanish people?
Well, I think Fernando is the right guy to answer this question, because he's had the pleasure to and the success to give that joy to Spanish people. To me, when I was following Formula One, and I was his biggest fan and his biggest supporter, and I can only say, yeah, it must be an incredible feeling. I've had my little experience of it by giving a win to Spain in Formula One, and that was when I heard my national Spanish anthem, probably the most emotional moment of my career. Standing on the top of the podium, hearing your anthem with your flag behind you, I think that is the thing that any driver or any athlete dreams about. And yeah, I think we are incredibly lucky in Spain. Well, you could say lucky, but when you have so many athletes in so many disciplines that are so good for such a relatively small country, it cannot be luck. It needs to be that we are investing well in infrastructure around sports. And when you look and you go to the smallest village in Spain, you still see a 25-meter swimming pool, you see a 400-meter running track, you see a football pitch, you see a basketball pitch, you see all kind of Olympic installations, and that's in the smallest village you can imagine. So I think we are a country that invests a lot in sports and from a very young age. And in the end, it pays off, and it makes me a proud Spaniard to see that such a relatively small country is so well represented in any kind of discipline, from motorsports to MotoGP to tennis to football, masculine, feminine. I don't know. I think we are a very successful country in that way, and it makes me proud.
Yeah, obviously it means a lot, and it will mean a lot if we can repeat it. At the end of the day, I think you want to share those moments with your country, with your fans, your friends, your mechanics, your team. There is always this feeling of being alone in the car, from the starting grid, that all the mechanics, they go away and you do the formation lap and you're completely alone. And then when you win a race or you succeed, the first feeling and the first moment you have is in the podium with all the team down, and you start celebrating with them, and then you do the picture on the pit lane, and then is the whole procedure that you start sharing the joy, of winning. And it's the same with your country. It's the same with the fans. The fans, this year in Barcelona, there were 100,000 fans. In the fan forum, there were like 5,000 or 6,000 fans, and they were all dressed in green. They were all supporting, at 35 degrees, and they went there knowing that we will be 21st and 22nd, and it didn't matter to them. They went there just because they wanted to support, because one day, if you win, they want to celebrate with you. So that's the hope that is unstoppable. So yeah, if you are able to win and you are able to succeed, the moment and the celebration with them and with your country is something magical.
Okay, thank you. Let's now bring in the written media as well, please. Name and publication.
Here 2 years ago, I think, where you signed your deal with Williams and agreed to join the team following your Ferrari exit. Over that 2-year period, after the high of last year, the low of this year, is the team in line with where you were expecting to be when you made that agreement? And how much do you view this year as maybe another crossroads for your future in terms of committing further to the team or looking at other options?
I think there's no secret that I think my expectations, or let's say my timeline of how long would it take me to win a race again, and Williams being the place to do that. I think everything has been delayed by a year or two, depends on how quick we are managing to bounce back from this situation. Obviously, I had in my mind a time frame that I was willing to accept in order to help this team to get back into a winning position, and how long I was willing to wait for myself to be fighting for wins again. And clearly that timeline, unfortunately for all of us, because obviously the team is also affected by it, is going to be longer than what we expected, and that path is going to be longer than expected. Having said that, I see what the team is investing in the future. I see the vision still of the team being pretty clear. I see how much is going on behind the scenes when you leave current car performance aside, and this still gives me confidence and motivation that we're going in the right direction. It's just that this year's car, for whatever reason or whatever reasons we have, it's been very underperforming and very short to our expectations through many different reasons that I'm not gonna talk about them again here today, but yeah, clearly my timings have changed. I need to readapt my thinking into portraying myself now 3 to 4 years time and take a decision. But I'm still confident on the path and the project that we are in.
Thank you for that. Right, next.
Ronald Vodding, motorsport.com. It's a question to Franco for a change. Do you feel that the last two layouts, Silverstone and Spa, have highlighted some specific weaknesses of the Alpine package, or are you a bit more confident for this one in regard to that, or do you feel that the team has simply at this stage been outdeveloped by Racing Bulls to some extent?
I think everyone brought more upgrades than us, and they have been developing in a better way. I think we did bring stuff that we were thinking it was going to be a big step, and unfortunately it wasn't as big as we thought. So yeah, teams like Vicar and Audi, they brought a lot of stuff during the year, and they improved a lot the car. We have things to come, but unfortunately it's not this weekend. We did improve slightly the car, but I think we were slightly outdeveloped, and we are not in the same position that we were in Miami, Canada, and Monaco compared to them. So yeah, we are working to make it better.
Thank you, Franco. Next.
Carlos Miquel, Diario Marca. It's a question for the three drivers. Well, we know about your future, because there are three drivers here, not only stars of the Football World Cup. Next year you don't have contract. What we will know, when we will know about your contract?
Who'd like to start with that, please? When are we going to know about your futures? Okay, let's start with Carlos, perhaps. We'll start with you.
I honestly don't know. I cannot give you a date, but I imagine I always said I was going to wait until the summer to sit down with my team and think about this and discuss with them, with James and everyone, the future of the team and my future in it. And I expect that obviously during the summer we will start to take a decision and start to see a bit more the situation. But exact timings, I don't know.
Okay. Franco?
No idea. I think just focus on driving, and happy this year. Feel like I'm doing a good job. So yeah, just no idea. I'm just focused on these few races and doing my best with the team, trying to improve the car is our main focus. So yeah, I think you guys definitely know more than us with all the rumors that you put online. I think I don't even know a quarter of what you guys know. So yeah, you shouldn't ask us.
I do have contract, so I'm not moving.
Okay, thank you all three. Next, please.
Laurine Slingerland, Nu.nl. A question for Fernando. Since the age gap between the number 1 and 2 in the championship is quite big, and you've been here around for a while, I was wondering if so, how your driving style changes when you get older, and if you think experience is going to be a big advantage for Lewis Hamilton.
I don't know. I think that's a very personal thing, and different car characteristics. It changes your speed.
Okay, next.
Josh Alter from the race. Carlos and Fernando, there's a regulation that says that the driver has to drive the car unaided and alone. Do you think with all the algorithms and everything this year and deciding when and where energy has been deployed, that's kind of in doubt a little bit? And is there any hope for the future that we can give the power back to the drivers outside of the changes agreed?
So who was that for? It was for... Who'd like to start? Fernando, why don't we start with you this time?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. It depends. You know, I think Formula One has been always, you know, a little bit like that. You know, I don't think that the drivers, they were deciding everything. You know, even when we had traction control and some other helps, you know, it was very specific for each team, you know, developed by each team in a different way, different philosophies, and you were, you know, pressing the throttle at the exit of the corners, and some cars, they were much better than the others. It's not pure, you know, driver talent or input and some of the exits. Same with the starts, you know, we've been doing starts. I've been doing a start for 25 years, and we have many different regulations. And at the end of the day, there were always some cars, some teams starting better than the others. You know, both cars. So it's not just that someone was, you know, doing something differently with the clutch or with the technique or with the throttle application. Both cars of that team, they were extremely good or extremely bad. So I think the team is always, you know, bringing the performance to everything. But yeah, I think on these current regulations and the battery deployment, there is something that has to be fixed and has to be improved. I think that's well understood. You know, we are in the first half of this set of regulations on the first year, and there are only talks about 2030 or 2031 and the V8, and next year there is already an approval on the chains for the combustion versus the electrical part of the engine. So, I mean, there are things that they are moving forward and is well understood by the sport, by the teams, by everyone. So I'm optimistic, you know, for the future that, you know, it will get better and it will be, you know, better understood what the rules and what the cars need to be.